and that's where we also do the next, because you know the stress on families or households because of price increases in food, the inability of these households to be able to stock food while others are doing it, coupled with the fact that they may not be feeling well and have some psychological thing with the mind that they may be having some symptoms of coronavirus, and then also being bombarded daily with the news that the cases are increasing not only in Ghana but across the world. We need somebody with a better mental state, and that is where we want to have this conversation. How should we have our mental state right? So we'll go to a consultant psychiatrist with Anchor 4 Psychiatric Hospital. We'll speak to the director of that hospital, Dr. Kwejo Mafo Obeng, and talk about dealing with stress and having a better mental health. Good morning to you, sir.
Sir.
I'm great. Now, when we have to talk about, we just finished speaking to Abdul Wahab Henan, and Mr. Henan is the chief executive of the National Food Buffer Stock Company. And we're just talking about prices of food and how people hoarded food, etc. But we also do know that that is not the only stress that we have faced or are facing within the period of coronavirus and its infections relatedly. What has been your own observation so far about some of the indices you've picked in the environment that you think could lead to some stressful situations for households?
Well, generally speaking, the message that we've been getting has been one that has been designed to scare us so that we prepare. Unfortunately, it worked a little too effectively. This connects to the interview that you just had. People are now so scared that they are buying irrationally. People are antagonizing other people who might have come from Accra or from us. We're hearing these stories on contact tracing. People are making to us thinking that they are suffering from COVID-19 when they don't really have any else COVID-19. The mere fact that they've sat in the hospital before in the last month without any symptoms and panicking. So the general level of fear, although it was necessary for us to become alert, now our behaviors are now becoming counterproductive. Another example, people fleeing Accra in the 2 days before the lockdown was put into effect. It was extremely counterproductive. We understand that these people were scared, and that was the reason for doing it.
So, if I have to go by my layman mind, it will mean that widows under lockdown, Accra, Tema, Kumasi, were more stressed than those living outside these areas.
Yes, the limitation of movement is a significant cause of stress. You are not able to go out and do the things that you would normally do. You've lost your normal structure. You wake up in the morning, get ready, you get your children ready, you go to work, occupy a couple of hours of your day with work, you come home. You've lost that entirely. And it was unexpected, unplanned. It's not like you're on holiday. So that in itself is very stressful. To add on to that, a lot of the people who reduce stress involve leaving the house. And as such, being stuck in the house has removed certain avenues of stress. So, and then you are home checking social media, checking news regularly, and being bombarded with statistics about the number of deaths rising and the number of cases rising. And most of the news you are getting is Ghana. But Italy is scaring you. America is scaring you. Spain is scaring you. But you don't know anybody from Italy, America, Spain.
Yeah. In the developed world, perhaps they will have personal psychiatric doctors or experts to speak to, counselors and all that. We don't seem to have that in our environment because it's a very informal environment. Somebody who is living close to us, maybe at Mamobi or in Kotobabi or in Nima, who used to sell some packs of banana and now will not have the opportunity, would be more stressed. In such a mental state, how do we calm them down?
Okay, so there are some general principles for managing stress. Your stress, like the rest of your mental health, is very closely related to your physical health. So it's important in these times that you manage to eat a healthy, balanced diet. People who eat healthy are less stressed than people who don't eat healthy. And in the context of COVID-19, we would strongly emphasize the eating of more fruits, particularly those rich in vitamin C. Also, it's important to make a regular regimen of exercise. People who exercise more have generally lower stress levels. And to take time to sleep and rest. I know people are on, so they think they have nothing but time to sleep and rest. But if you don't structure your days that there's a specific time that you are sleeping and getting actual rest from it, you might not get the benefit that you think you get from the rest. Also, for those of us in lockdown, it's extremely crucial that we make a schedule for ourselves. If you just wander through your day, you end up checking social media more than you need to, or you would do at work. You end up worrying about things you control more than you normally would. But if you give yourself a regular routine, you can essentially distract yourself from the things that you cannot control and deal with the things that you can control. So in some countries that people are working from home, for example, they've been encouraged to keep their normal schedule. So they wake up at the same time, bath at the same time, get fully dressed, even though they are not actually going to, just to maintain that sense of normalcy.
Right.
And this is particularly important for children. A lot of people are locked down with their children, people are not going to school. If you do not give the children structure, they will get bored, they will get stressed, and then they will stress you out.
Okay.
Then everybody in the house is stressed.
Okay, so I'll tell you some things that my children have been doing. Perhaps maybe that could set the tone. I'm sure many people could relate to it. My children have been eating more. They've been eating more sweets behind their laptops, behind the TV, with headphones and all that. And they are doing less chores than they used to do, concentrating more on these. So is that, and perhaps the routine of bathing early and all that has also been curtailed. Is that one of the signs?
Yeah, it's all related because they've lost their schedule, engaging in more unhealthy activities. You'd be amazed at the number of people complaining that their children are eating more. They're bored. You're not allowing them to go out. You're not allowing them to do anything. So they are listening to messages from their body more. So whereas you'd get 3 hours after eating, but you're busy doing something, now there's nothing to distract you. So for all these children, it's very important that we find scheduled activities for them. They don't need to bath at the time they used to bath, but force them to bath at that time. That is their bath time. There are a lot of things on the internet to educate people. There's something for every grade of students. There's material from other African countries. There are materials from Ghana. There are materials from the US. If you take the time, you can schedule a program of activities for your children. But it's also important that you do some physical exercise, but some physical activities in the schedule that you create, so that your children are occupied. This is a particularly important method. People are losing money on this food that their children are eating. And secondly, the children are getting less healthy.
Yeah, certainly they're getting less healthy if you look at the type of foods they are eating. But there's something also for the adults that I noticed. Just about a month ago, the Guardian newspaper published and that divorce rate spikes across China after couples spent too much time together during coronavirus home quarantine. And I'll again, Dr. Obeng, go to just 7 days ago. Bloomberg published an article, and we know Bloomberg is big, says divorce cases in China and Europe increase astronomically as a result of lockdown measures.
Yes.
Okay, so now for our sexual health, does it mean that people who hated each other and wanted to see each other only 1 hour in a day before they go to bed are now having to face the same pot-bellied man, or maybe who, you know, that they don't want to see, or maybe an odor-filled mouthed husband, etc.? Is that the case?
It cannot be ruled out entirely. But from a mental health point of view, I have to say that people there's something called displacement. You are angry, you are stressed, but you are angry because of things you can't control. You are stressed because of things that are out of your control. So you tend to project that stress, that anger on the most available convenient person. And if you are locked down at home, that convenient person becomes your spouse. You know, you can project it to your children, but there's not much you can do about that. But your husband or your wife, then every time cases go up in Italy and people are dying and you're angry, then your husband's face becomes a bit annoying. His voice becomes a little more irritating. All his bad behavior you could tolerate before, because now you're too stressed, you can't tolerate anymore. You've lost the ability to tolerate. So it's very important that we all maintain our mental health during this time. We want to keep family together in Ghana.
Look, Dr. Obeng, I've loved this conversation so far. And my last question, before I open the phone lines for all of you to contribute, and the phone lines are there, 03022116910, again 03022116910. And I just mentioned China, Europe. So maybe our viewers will think that we are excluded. The man and the woman somewhere in Fanchinico or somewhere Dominance, they are all excluded. But if you, because you're a Ghanaian, you know our environment, what could be some of the things that could be stressing couples?
It's the same everywhere. You mentioned some of it. People have not been able to respond to this in an appropriate manner. So people want to hoard food. People want to hoard hand sanitizer. And the price of these things have gone up. At the same time, people are losing income because they're not able to work, or their customers are not coming. So these are all very stressful, but one of the important, the worst sources of stress that we're dealing with is this constant stream of negative information. Constant stream, you know, it's WhatsApp, it's Facebook, it's the news. Everything is telling you to be scared. Everything is telling you to be stressed. So actually, one of the things we strongly advise is that you minimize the number of times you check on this information to once or twice a day.
Yeah, I'm a newsman though.
And
what I've been able to do is to reduce spending time on Facebook and WhatsApp and things like that. I think that has helped. I've read more books and watched more movies within this period and done more work, office work than anything. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
See, so those are healthy coping mechanisms.
All right. Now, let's go to the phone line, start taking the calls. But look, we're putting the lines on your screens, but the numbers before they're put on the screens are 2. We have 03022116910. Again, 03022116910. Rhymes, doesn't it? And talking about somebody who has also caught up with all this discussion is Rafik. And Rafik is calling us from the Volta regional capital of Ho. Rafik, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Yes, please, we have our consultant psychiatrist. He's a big man. He's a director for the Ankafo Psychiatric Hospital. So please, pose any question you want. If you're stressed, your partner is worrying you, please let us know. He's there for you, free of charge service.
Hello? Hello?
Yes, please go ahead, Rafik.
Good morning.
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 Thank you for the opportunity given. I have a little question. 2 days ago, I engaged in an exercise with kids in my barracks. They are not my kids, but they are colleague officers' kids. We were doing this jumping, skipping with rope, and a lot of stretches for about 30 minutes. We were all sweating. We closed. The following morning, the father came to me and said, "Hey, Mr. Rafik, Charlie, this morning my kids woke up and they are doing those plenty skipping and things. Are you sure they're all healthy for them?" I said, "Oh, now you should allow them to do." He said, "No, some of them they are too hard for them to do because they push up and other things." I want the professor to come out clear, like which type of exercises should we actually engage these kids? Because we have to skip, we have to run, it was a whole lot of fun within this in the barracks. So actually, I want a professor to come out. What type of exercises should we engage these kids?
All right.
Something, yeah.
Okay. Dr. Obeng, please note that then we'll take the second caller. And Kojo is calling us from nearby Kaswa. Kaswa is also under lockdown, Kojo.
Yeah, Kaswa is lockdown.
Oh, you are stressed. Please tell us. What really is your difficulty? Dr. Obeng is right on the line.
Oh, I'm calling in relation to the psychiatric.
Yes, please. Please go ahead. Just ask him in a question.
Yes. Under lockdown. Yeah, I'm stressed. Yes. I can see the plan. In fact, all that he's saying, I've been experiencing it. In fact, my home is inundated with human beings. I have about 8 people in the house. My wife, my children, 5 of them, and other 2 nephews and nieces. So I'm really spread out here. The point is that the little ones keep asking me, "Have you finished school? Aren't you going to school anymore?" And I don't know what, one is about 4 or 5 years, another one is about 7 years. Those ones, they don't understand what is happening. So apart from the fact that they've been eating and just worrying, I'm really frustrated. Me, myself, my work, I don't know what is going to happen to my work and all that.
Yeah.
So it's really, really a stressful situation, especially when you don't know when it's going to end. The lockdown, whether it's going to be extended, and even if it's not extended, what is in it for us? Businesses are collapsing and all that. So really, we don't know what to do, actually.
Yeah, okay, I'll take the question. Do we have our secretary back on the line? Okay. Okay, we'll take the third caller. We have Kwesi from Gomwa in Ngresi. Okay. Good morning to you from Gomwa in Ngresi.
Good morning, Uncle Walker.
What's it then?
Charlie,
Pocho. Chado.
Uncle Walker.
Yes, please.
There is one thing I would like to know. Dr. Obeng said parents must schedule activities for their kids. Mm-hmm. And I'm asking, at Gomwenjesi, where there is no recreational center, where there is no activities and so forth, I'm not locked down by my family at Kaswa. So I ask, what kind of recreation center? Because you people have been advocating all these things in the capital cities, neglecting the villages. Life only goes on there, but at the villages, nothing goes on. So we ask, I think we should use this opportunity to think about those in the interior area, that they are also Ghanaians, and they also deserve things that can be found in Accra. When all these things are in the villages, nobody will rush coming to the cities. All right. Now with this lockdown, as the earlier caller said, these kids keep on asking, when are they going to school? And because they are losing their calipos and their biscuits and so forth, and their madams and so forth. Every day I want to talk to my madam, call madam for me, daddy. It's very stressful, even though I'm not there with them. But, Uncle Walker, it's not easy. So imagine those, they're in a single room with about 4 or 5 families in a single room.
But Kwesi, you have space in your house, don't you?
Uncle, I don't know how long you have been in the city, and I started watching you on television not today. You know, renting in Accra and the size of the room.
Yeah, so
the size
but
of the room.
But you are in Goma in Gracie, so
yes.
at least I know you have space in your house, don't you?
I have.
Okay, so
but my family there.
Okay.
You know, we men when.
Oh, Kwesi, I've lost you.
At least,
okay.
we should use this opportunity to.
Okay, I'll pose that question to Dr. Obeng, and then we have our last caller, Edu Jemfi. Mr. Edu Jemfi, you're calling us from BBNE.
Yeah, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Please, your question, if you have any, to Dr. Obeng.
Yeah, it's similar to what the guest caller spoke about.
But you are not under lockdown in BBNE, are you?
No, we are not. My family lives in Dunkwao. And say again?
Please go ahead.
Yeah, I work at BBNE, but the family live at Dunkwao.
Right.
And I live with a family of 9. My 5 children, my in-law, and 2 of my siblings. Now, the questions they keep asking, when are you coming home? And apart from asking the time I'm coming home, you know, there is this, since they've not stayed in the same roof for some time now, they normally go to school and come back late. There are certain questions that they pose to you, it becomes a problem.
How old are your children?
Say again?
How old are your children?
The first one is around 14 years, and the last is less than a year.
Wow.
And say again?
Go ahead, please.
Yeah, and I'm saying there are certain questions that they pose to you, answering becomes a problem. They ask you this question today, you answer them. They ask you the same question tomorrow, and psychologically, how are we as parents?
Right. Okay, I think you've made your point. That's Edu Jemfi from BBNE who has his family in Dunkwao. So that's a problem. Dr. Obeng, are you back on stream?
Yes, I'm back.
Okay, were you listening to the questionings or watching the television when you went off?
No, sorry.
Okay. So no problem. So but you had the first question from Ho. They did an exercise.
Yeah.
They did an exercise, and the next day the parents were asking, went the exercise too stressful? And that was the reason why he did it, to distress the children. Now, the second one, that's Kojo from Kaswa. The third from Gomwa Ingresi. And then Edu Jemfi from BBNE. They seem to have the same problem. Kojo from Kaswa says that he already is stressed because he's under lockdown. Okay, so he's stressed over uncertainties about his work. And then coupled with that, they have the children already at home and they're stressing with questions because they are young. And it's the same situation for Kwesi, who also lives in Gomwa, Ingresi, and then Edu Jemfi, who also has his family in Dunkwa, but lives in BBNE, and the questions are the same from the children. And it looks like parents are not used to being under the same roof 12 hours a day with their children. It's a big issue. It's a stressful situation. And if you're under lockdown, you don't know whether your work is going to be secured after a lockdown, etc. Just some great answers for them.
Okay, so the first one is on the exercise. We can't prescribe a specific exercise for the general public. It's important that everybody knows their limitations and exercises to their own capacity. So if you exercise at least 30 minutes, you sweat and you get your heart pumping faster, we are happy. For some people, this is jogging. Some people, it's just walking, a brisk walk, because that is their capacity. So the important thing is to make sure that the exercise is fit for the individuals in question. In this scenario, the children didn't seem to mind, at least from the narration we had. You know, I was expecting them to wake up in the morning all sore and tired, and that with others complained. But if they woke up and they were doing more, they seem to have been able to tolerate it this time. Again, this is just from the information that we have. Yes. So the more exercise you do, the healthier you get, and the more minutes or hours in the day you occupy with doing something healthy, rather than just worrying about things you can't have about, like whether or not your job is going to after this lockdown is over.
Now,
so that's about it.
How do you manage that, knowing that your children keep asking questions and your responses to them will still not make meaning because they are just young, underage, I mean, so to speak. Their mental faculties are not that developed.
There are two aspects to this question. There's first them asking the questions and not being able to process the answers. And secondly, there's them having the time to repeatedly ask the same question. So for the first one, you need to make sure you are tailoring your response to the age of the child. You have to make it as simple as possible so that the child is able to understand it at their level. And the last man had children from 14 to under 1 year. So assuming there's a 6-year-old, your answer to the 6-year-old has to be different from your answer to the 14-year-old. So you have to understand how to break down your questions, give an answer that they will understand. Secondly, you have to accept the fact that your children are going to repeatedly ask you the question, even if they've understood the answer. Adults are doing it at the time. We are all stressed. Stressed people repeatedly ask questions.
Okay.
It's part of the reason why you've had all these divorces in the other countries. Because even the adults kept on asking the same question.
All right.
So the important thing for you to do as a parent is accept that this is going to happen. Not get annoyed when you get the same answer. I mean, it's the same question. And then just repeatedly give a consistent answer to your children. Eventually, they might stop asking. The other side of it is what we've been talking about this all this while. The children need schedule. They need a regimen. They need something to occupy themselves. Otherwise, the same question will just keep on popping in their mind, and they'll keep on asking questions. So the first caller, the father wasn't asked questions at the time that we're doing the exercise. I hope you understand what I'm saying. They were occupied doing something productive. So if you want to avoid some of these endless questions, it behooves upon you to make sure that you have a regular schedule of activities for these children to do whilst they're at home.
Right, right. Well, thank you very much. I've enjoyed the discussion. Very educative, and it's what we've been bringing to you right here on the show in this period of the infection for coronavirus. And the education have always been impactful. Dr. Kwejo Obeng, thank you very much for that contribution there. And Dr. Obeng is the director for the Ankafo Psychiatric Hospital and helping us with some discussions on stress management, good mental health within the period. I wish you the best of the day, Dr. Obeng. All right. And talking about that, we have to bring you some health tips on coronavirus, and I hope that we'll all get some education. When we come back, we'll bring you some related discussions on the National Blood Service, and then the related issues about, you know, all the latest reshuffle news that has been coming from the presidency. We also do know that we have to touch base. If we can get Dr. Okoboy, it would be nice for us to have some chit-chat before we have some wrap-up for the show this morning. Enjoy the tips.